All this week on The Pete Show between 7 and 10, BBC Radio Berkshire, we're talking about organ donation. In the past 4 months, 3 people here in our area have died waiting for an organ transplant. There are 250,000 people on the organ donor register. And we're going to be giving some reasons as to why you might think about that on the show this week. Now, in the studio this morning, we've got 2 brothers, Alan and Terry.
I suppose I've always had this need, this desire really to make something, to use my hands, to be creative. I built my first aeroplane, the Pete and Paul Air Camper, over 20 years ago. And a couple of years ago, I had some aerobatic lessons, and it's a fantastic feeling to be able to make an aeroplane do these beautifully smooth manoeuvres. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I should build my own aeroplane, a little wooden aerobatic aeroplane, single seat.
But we are careful who we do tell about him building his own aeroplane, because people do think you're a bit of a nutter sometimes.
But to me, he's just Mr. Do-It-All. You name it and he'll do it. He's just got so much confidence in him. If something breaks, Alan will fix it. It will work again.
I was out in the garden one day and he was extending the garage, knocking a hole through the wall. And a friend asked me, why was he doing that? And I said, well, he's going to build an aeroplane out there, but he's not told me yet.
1985, down in Bognor, a nice sunny day. It's where mad people jump off the pier and try to fly. And one year, me and Alan, we dressed up as the Wet Sparrows. Thought it'd be a great idea to show off, like you do sometimes. And we jumped off Bognor Pier. Ever since sharing this bedroom, this little box bedroom together, it was always untidy. It was always bits of aeroplane, bits of balsa wood, horrible smell of what they called dope at the time. I don't think it's the same sort of dope we're thinking of. It was some kind of chemical we used to put over this tissue paper on the wings of an aeroplane to strengthen them. It was constant smell of dope in the bedroom. I used to get to sleep quite easily, actually, for some reason.
I wish I was an engineer. I wish I was a qualified engineer. And it's down to that situation where I wanted to join the Royal Air Force. Nothing else came into it. And then suddenly you hit this wall. They don't want you. And my world came to a stop then almost.
I was diagnosed when I was 22, in my prime. And I was just doing my final exams at Reading Tech. My mum and I, we left this consultancy room, we went straight to the library, got out a book, Allport Syndrome, looked it up. It said a kidney disease, fatal. That's all we knew, that's all the news we had on it. And I thought I was going to die, it's as simple as that. I thought, that's it, my life's over.
Only because someone said, do you want a job here, Alan? At Reading Model Supplies, the model shop. I said, yeah. And what happened was that job then became a habit. And unbeknown to me, I was missing opportunities. I should have gone to tech college. And at the time, what I was doing became easy and enjoyable. And when you're young, you don't worry too much about what's happening in the future.
When Alan first told me he was going to build a Spitfire, well, first of all, I thought he was joking. You can't just go out and build your own Spitfire. But then I learnt it was a scaled-down version.
Honestly, at the moment, no one else in the UK has finished one. I was always hoping maybe mine might be the very first one to get finished since the prototype. And even the prototype now, that original one, is no longer flying. So we don't have one flying in the UK right now. I've had an email from somebody else who's building Isaac's Spitfire, and funny enough, his name's Alan James Hartley. From the pictures he sent me, he looks like he's progressed quite some way. I don't want to send him my latest pictures because I don't want him to realise just how close I am to getting this thing done.
It's a rogue cell which affects a membrane in the inner ear and in the eye and the kidneys. It's unbelievable those three things can be connected. And so the deafness was settling in, the eyes were getting worse, the double vision was getting worse, and the kidneys were packing up.
I can remember Terry also, he was good at football at school and he played for one or two teams, and then he started losing his energy when he was in his late teens and early 20s, and he couldn't really play as well as he used to. And he started getting lots and lots of headaches, and these headaches were getting worse and worse and worse, and he was ill, very, very ill, often days at a time.
In those days, the side effects of dialysis at that time were awful. They used to give me migraines and make you feel sick. Anyone on dialysis then, you were just like a living dead. You were just existing. You weren't living. I arranged to see a consultant at the transplant unit because I was always in touch with them. They always giving me updates about transplant news and that. I thought, right, I need to find out, is there really any chance? It's been a long, long time. I haven't seen anyone for a couple of years now. What's the latest chance of me getting a transplant? And he explained delicately that there was still nothing at this moment, but you know, they're always thinking of me. They never forget me. I'm sure one day I'll get a transplant.
So these kidney machines clean the blood. That's the only way for you to live, is to go on a kidney machine every other day for 4, 5 or 6 hours at a time, depending on how big you are or how bad it is.
And setting the machine up, and it just had one of those moments. I've never done it once. Suddenly, I just kicked everything. I smashed the machine, I thumped it, I kicked the bed, I kicked the door, and just screamed. It's just one of those moments. Everything's just been built up. The transplant's never going to come along. This is it. This is it for the rest of your life.
Eventually, he was on dialysis for 25 years, probably one of the longest surviving dialysis patients in the UK. A lot of people don't get that long. What happens is your heart's pumping around bad blood all the time, and it overstresses the heart. People die of heart attack, not kidney disease. They die because the heart can't keep pushing this rubbish around. And when it got to 25 years, it was getting desperate when Terry said to me, you know, would you do this? Anyway, so of course I said, yeah, no problem.
We all pulled together, especially raising money and raising awareness with things like the Steam Rally, Alan running marathons. But I know that Alan, he'd want to help wherever he could, I know that.
Did you catch me, Scott?
I can't remember exactly how it came about. I think it was just a natural thing that one day Alan, if he could, would donate a kidney. I'm sure in my mind I thought, yeah, Alan will donate a kidney one day. He's my big brother, I'm sure he will. And the thing is, I know how terrified Alan is of needles. He's the most squeamish person you can imagine. He really is, for blood and needles and things. So I know it's such a massive thing for him to do.
If you fly an aeroplane on your own, that's great, that's a sense of achievement. But when you give a ride to somebody else for the first time, you know, they've never flown before, and they get back on the ground and you see the big grin on their face and the amazement of what the world looks like from just a few hundred feet up, that's fantastic. That's you can't pay for that. It's brilliant.
Oh, wow. I'm looking forward to this. Oh, brother. I didn't see you arrive.
Now, in the studio this morning, we've got Alan and Terry, two brothers, and Terry has got Alan's kidney. Morning, guys.
Morning. Hello there.
Good morning. Your life, Terry, normal?
It's changed completely. I mean, since dialysis, the freedom to do as you like now. There are no restrictions whatsoever. And just the food alone and the diet changes completely. You can eat what I like now. It's not restricted. The fluid, I mean, drink as much as... Not I drink, but... in fact, I can drink, but having to watch every cup of water I take, thinking that's another drop of fluid that's going to have to be washed out of that dialysis machine. It's just...
say for sure whether I'd still be here if it wasn't for Alan's kidney. Who knows? But it's given me a whole new life to look forward to. Definitely.